Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin,
Here.
Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moorer, McCormack, Plensick, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Jones, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with, the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember McCormack.
All right, we'll go to public comment. And once again, I want to urge all of our speakers to pay attention to your time. And then number 2, when it becomes red, that's when you need to abruptly stop. If it's yellow, that means to start to wrap it up, okay? I'd also ask all council members to please turn around and acknowledge our speakers when they're at the mic. First person we have is Gene Tracy from Ward 3 to talk about keeping promises. He is representing no one, and he is not being paid by anyone. Mr. Tracy, please acknowledge your time. Thank you.
Hi. First, I want to say to Joe Jones, I'm sorry. I was too sick. I really shouldn't be here tonight. I should be in the hospital. So that's how important this is. You know, I don't mind tax abatements as long as you're not giving away the children's money. So in 1990, Lerner threatened to move the Browns unless he got a new stadium that's fully tax abated for life with all the maintenance and upgrades paid for by the city. Hey, he spent $532 million for the Browns and sold it to Haslam for $1 billion. Nice profit. So tonight, I want to acknowledge the J. Westbrook City Council. You see, they had humanity. They had caring. They cared about the children. They had courage because they stood up to this power. And they refused to pass Ordinance 1025-95A unless the children were held harmless for the tax abatement afforded to these billionaires. And they did it. The children received $2 million from 96 to 2009, when the stadium overspent its budget, that billionaire, by $4 billion. So Mayor Jackson took $1 million from the children. Imagine that. Took $1 million from the children that was promised to them, that Westbrook City Council fought for. And that continued. How would you have stood up? Would you stood up for the children? Would you stand up and be counted and say, no, children get their money? Well, the answer to that is quite clear. You voted to take that $1 million from the children again this year. This has got to stop. It has got to stop, or you don't care about the children. And what did they do with that money? Or that lack of money? They used it to promote charters. There were several schools who were denied funds from that SEEP to start after-school programs, latchkey programs. They were early schools. There were late schools.
Time. Thank you, Mr. Tracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean.
Thank you. Next up is Carmela Fatima Kuazan. from Cleveland Heights to talk about tobacco retail license and the end of sale of flavored tobacco products and menthol cigarettes. She is not representing anyone and she is not being paid by anyone.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you all and in front of council. My name is Carmel Cuizon, and I am here today to talk about urging City Council to pass legislation that can end the sale of flavored tobacco products and menthol cigarettes and to implement the tobacco retail license in Cleveland. I'm a current medical student and a graduate of Cleveland State University. As a part of my medical training, I've spent the last 9 months serving Cleveland residents at Metro Health and university hospitals. From this experience, I've learned how tobacco can ruin and continues to ruin the lives of many of our Cleveland residents, many of them who continue to suffer from long-term diseases that are terminal and incurable. Many of these include heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, many cancers that affect the lungs, the bladder, the esophagus, just to name a few. What I've also learned is the emotional and the mental burden of tobacco addiction on Cleveland families and the future of our children in this community. On average, about 1 in 3 of my patients use tobacco products, which is roughly equivalent to the smoking rate in Cleveland. Sadly, because of its extremely addictive properties, many of my patients have given up on trying to quit altogether and accepted the fact that they may very well die from their addiction. With such a short period of time that I've been able to serve the Cleveland residents, I've heard various stories from many patients about their experience with trying to quit smoking. For example, I've cared for a pregnant teen mom who struggles to quit smoking, even though she knows that she is putting her unborn child at risk of complications such as fetal growth restriction and death. I've also cared for patients who are suffering from metastatic lung cancer, one of which shared with me that he was afraid that he was unable to make it to his grandchild's graduation. I've also counseled patients on how to quit tobacco cessation, but many of them respond and say that they've tried 8 or 9 times with no success, feeling completely defeated. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about what they have to go through and imagine having to accept the fact that a shorter lifespan might just be easier than quitting tobacco smoking. Now think of our children who are most vulnerable to tobacco addiction and how easily they can access these flavored tobacco products. You guys have the power to end and also allow for a healthier and brighter future for our Cleveland residents and for our children. So please consider voting for the end of the tobacco product sales that are flavored, as well as menthol cigarettes, and also implementing a more effective enforcing of the tobacco laws. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Don Whitaker, and Mr. Whitaker is from Granger Township in Medina, and he's here to talk about funding improvements at the West Side Market. He represents the United West Side Market Tenants Association, and he's not being paid by anyone. Mr. Whitaker, you have the floor.
Hello, my name is Don Whitaker, and I've been a tenant of yours at the West Side Market for over 32 years now. I'd like to thank President Griffin for giving me time to speak today, and also for visiting me last week at the West Side Market. The West Side Market is Cleveland's only remaining public market and has been owned and operated by the City of Cleveland since it opened in 1912. Historically, public markets were created as a public service for residents providing access to fresh food. Today, 46% of our customer base live in the City of Cleveland. Of this 46%, they come from every single ward in the city. The market has remained a traditional marketplace for our customers, but we know there is a room for growth to increase diversity among our vendors and to attract the next generation of customers. We serve all our income levels of customers at the market. Nearly every vendor who offers SNAP-eligible products accepts EBT food benefits. Last year, we participated in the Produce Perks program, which brought $35,000 in free fresh fruits and vegetables to low-income families. The West Side Market had the highest redemption rate in this program in the whole state of Ohio. The Westside Market is home to 70 small businesses that provide over 250 direct jobs, that provide income taxes, sales taxes, and small business taxes to benefit the whole city. We have the potential for growth since we're experiencing a vacancy of over 30% right now since COVID. But before COVID, we were at 10%. For the first time in decades, there has been productive conversation that included tenant input in the best operating plan for the market moving forward. While a nonprofit management is agreed upon for the next step, the city will still be the landlord and the owner of the building. The number of shoppers who visit the market is beyond the number of visitors to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Cleveland Museum of Art, which are all seen as anchor institutions in Cleveland. 20% of those shoppers come from outside the region and bring their tourist dollars and taxes that enhance the city's revenues. I believe the market is of equal significance to these Cleveland institutions, and our perseverance as tenants and city employees has helped us survive despite the years of deferred maintenance by our landlord. The market needs so many basic repairs that have not been addressed for decades. This weekend alone, we had ongoing leaking roof, which rains in our stairwells down to our coolers. Another employee got stuck in our only working elevator with 3 unusable elevators for years. Not to mention ongoing plumbing issues, no generator to back up the mechanical cooling systems, nor any kind of an HVAC system. These basic repairs, coupled along with the revenue-generating ideas to sustain our existence into the future, are estimated at $32 to $40 million. Now, Council, I do applaud you for your ARPA investments in housing, safety, and critical issues. I saw this last week. These investments may benefit all the neighborhoods in need. I do understand you're also working to hold landlords responsible for the upkeep of their properties. Like you, I believe this landlord needs to take responsibility for this property too. I hope we can work together to find a solution that our small businesses survive, increase jobs, and continue feeding the quality products from the Westside Market to the residents, to the city of Cleveland and the region.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jennifer Johnson from Brooklyn, Ohio, and she's here to talk about Child Abuse Prevention Month and Resolution 477-2023. And Jennifer represents Canopy Child Advocacy Center, and she's not being paid by anyone to speak this evening. Jennifer, you have the floor.
Hello, thank you, Council. April is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, and I'm here to just talk about the need that we have in Cuyahoga County. There are 12,000 cases of screened-in child abuse that happens in Cuyahoga County as we speak right now. Many of those reside in the city of Cleveland. Last year alone, there were literally half of a dozen children that died at the hands of child abuse. And so the need for prevention and intervention is really important. A lot of times people talk about intervention or prevention, but not both. And it's really important to invest in prevention through the support of child advocacy centers and other organizations that we partner with that support wrapping around kids and families and providing services before they're able to get the services that they need and have all the support that they can so that they can begin healing and thriving. Thank you for your consideration of passing a resolution to formally name April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. I don't know any of you that haven't been children before and that don't want children to thrive. In order for them to thrive, they need to be safe. In order to be safe, they need to have the services and support that they can to be able to grow and to heal and to experience safety, health, and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Richard Jones from Ward 5, and Richard is here to talk about Winton Manor, and he is with the Winton Manor Tenant Association, and he is not being paid by anyone. Is Richard Jones here? Is Richard Jones here? Richard Jones going once, Richard Jones going twice. Richard Jones is not here today. Next, we have Angela Davis. Angela Davis is in Ward 3, and she is here to talk about CMSD incident and mental health, and she is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Ms. Davis.
Good evening. I'm here because I was at the event last week, and there was a situation with a lady who was in a mental health crisis. and she was not handled appropriately, and I feel some type of way because I'm from the mental health community. There was no need for the police to come down the aisle and try to escort her out of the building, which is why I got up and interceded. I'm asking each and every one of you to please get educated about mental health, techniques to de-escalate when there is an escalated situation, and be a little bit more respectful of the mental health community, because we are people, we are humans, we are children of God, and we deserve the same respect as everyone else. Thank you, especially you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Next, we have Janice Contreras, and she is not in Cleveland presently, but she is here to talk about Centro Villa. I hope I said that right. And then also, she's representing the Northeast Ohio Hispanic Center for Economic Development, and she is not being paid by anyone to speak this evening. Ms. Contreras.
Thank you, Council President. As you mentioned, I'm here in support of Centro Villa 25, which is a real estate, economic development real estate project in the near west side of Cleveland. As you know, Clark-Fulton neighborhood has the largest density of Latino residents in the state, and obviously we have lacked the ability to have a place to be able to celebrate culture, to gather as a community. And so Centro Villa is the manifestation of many decades of our community really trying to put their ground in this community.
Take your time.
So it is a historic moment for us to be able to introduce legislation, and so I want to thank Councilwoman Santana and her leadership and all of City Council for seeing this project of priority for the city. I hope this is the first of many, and I hope to come back and celebrate. We are working with Mayor Bibb and the administration as well, as they've made commitments for this project. And so this is really a project that matters to everyone. As you know, the West 25th Corridor is super vibrant. The north side has our dear West Side Market. The south side has the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, and we have Metro Health in the middle. Centro Villa will really activate the corridor and really create a place, not just for the Latino community. Obviously, it's important to us, but it should be important to the city, and I know it is through this legislation. And I'll stop. And there's like 20 other leaders here in support of this, so thank you.
Thank you, Janice, and I know we're going to hear from my esteemed colleague, the Majority Whip, Jasmine Santana, who's worked so extremely hard on this, so I don't want to steal any of her thunder. I'm going to let her handle all of the affairs pertaining to that whole issue. Madam Clerk, please share communications.
File number 533, 2023, oath of office for Eduardo Romero, Interim Director, Department of Human Resources. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 534, 2023, regarding a new license application at 5300 Riverside Drive, Ward 17. File number 535, 2023, regarding a new license application at 5300 Riverside Drive, Ward 17. File number 536, 2023, regarding a transfer of license application at 603 Prospect Avenue, Ward 3. File number 537, 2023, regarding a transfer of license application at 2500 Brook Park Road, Ward 13.
Okay, I got you. Madam Clerk, share condolence resolutions.
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember Hairston for Rebecca Johnson, by Councilmember Jones for Gertrude Ella Wilson, by Councilmember McCormack for Henry P. Cornely.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? Madam Clerk, please hold out a number for June Stallworth,
So noted.
as well as please hold out a number for Keith Lawrence. Keith Lawrence.
So noted.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? Will all council members please rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any congratulatory resolutions?
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Jones for Reverend James P. Quincy III. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Griffin for National Drinking Water Week.
All right. So we now have presentations, and I'm going to ask if my colleague can open up the well. Councilman Joe Jones will like to acknowledge and present to the National Council of Negro Women. And we're going to ask all of the National Council of Negro Women if they could please join us right here to my right, your left. And all my colleagues, please open up the well. Thank you. You can use either aisle to come on in. Either aisle to come on in, and then come right here to our right. Councilman Jones, you have the floor.
Where's Miss Jones at? Yeah, who's the leader? She's the leader. We're gonna have her come right now. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have Miss Jones come up. She'll help us.
Y'all can fill in here too. We got
This Miss
a
Jones.
couple of risers.
You're the leader.
On this one.
Who's the top leader? You? Okay, good. So you come on over here. Where's Miss Jones at?
Anybody can come up here.
We're gonna have.
We got risers right here. We want to make sure we get everybody for the money shot. Please fill in all behind us. Right here. Who else?
That's Miss Jones.
You come right next to me.
All the leaders come on up. All the top leaders.
You want me to grab a chair for them? Sure.
We're in the middle.
Okay. Anybody else? Make sure y'all good. You got your shit? Anybody else?
I'm sorry. So you're the top leader. You're the nation.
All right. Everybody here, we got more room around this side. Be careful now. I don't want no
So we're gonna have
we
you.
do got insurance, but we don't want no make sure we got fuel out right here. We got plenty of fuel. Okay. Councilman Jones, it's your
Yes.
show.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. I want to take this opportunity to honor the National Council of Negro Women, not just only here in the city of Cleveland, but this state and also this nation. Their commitment and dedication to the advancement of quality for life for African American women and families in the communities have been legendary. And we just appreciate all of the hard work that you've done, how you have extended yourself to young women throughout this nation and throughout this city and throughout this state, and the most profound impact that you have made in our communities. So taking this opportunity, I want to introduce the national president who is here with us. This
Ohio State Coalition of NCNW, National Council of Negro Women. I am so honored to be able to serve, elected, and to be able to serve as the president for the state of Ohio, the National Council. We have headquarters at 633 Pennsylvania Avenue, where, as you know, that Mary McLeod Bethune is our founder. Dorothy Irene Height lived to be 98 years young, and she was definitely a pillar for young people being educated. Today, I want to make sure that all of the National Council of Negro Women are with us, standing behind me. To my left, I have Ms. Kimberly H. Jones. She is the president of the Cuyahoga County section, where she has at least 70 beautiful women serving each month. Next president is Ms. Monica McClellan, president of Cleveland section. Her members are with her as well. She is one of the section is the oldest section here in Cleveland, Ohio. So they're hitting about 75 to 80 years of service. Then the next president that I have is Ms. Annette Leftwich, Western Reserve Section. That section was found by none other than the Honorable Sarah Hopper. As many of you know, Judge Sarah Hopper, Western Reserve, we thank her for her service as well. We have a GIL here, North Ohio Life Member GIL, Ms. Vanetta J. Jameson, past president of the Cuyahoga County section. Now she is the chair of the North Ohio GIL, where she serves and others serve along with her for children, for the community, for neighborhoods, making sure children don't go to bed hungry. So we continue to do and to strive for excellence. Then none other than one of our national members elected as member at large at headquarters, Miss Loretta Gray. Wave your hand, Miss Gray, so that everyone will be able to see her. We have over 4 million women in the nation. We continue to strive for solvency, wellness. We're doing Good Health Win, get vaccinated, get your flu shots. We continue during this pandemic. It has been a real challenge. But with all the service and all the volunteer work that we do here in the state of Ohio, we are sovereign and we are well, and we're willing to serve to make the city of Cleveland a better place, and also the Cuyahoga County area. Thank you. We see that we have Mr. Bibbs, Mr. Justin Bibbs. We want you to know that we continue to support that drive that you're working on for the fall of the year. I want to say it is truly a blessing to be in this building, to be here today. Whatever is needed, invite us. We'll be there for you. Our children don't need to go to school afraid. We never had to go to school afraid. And so we are asking council here, we're asking the administrators here to help us to make sure. We have ladies that are willing to even go into the schools. We adopted a few schools here in the city. Please reach out to us. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Who's that right there? Janice Taylor, right here. This is Miss Taylor. We just want to thank you all for your commitment and dedication to our community. Let's give them a great big round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Gray, come on in.
As you guys know, I'm the Councilwoman of Ward 4. I became a member of National Council, Western Council of Women back in 2009. Elaine, could you come up here, please? Elaine, pass. Clara. Was you invited?
Up or down, up or down.
Watch your step. Watch that cord.
Be careful.
All right.
All right, Claire.
Take your time.
Excuse me, Ken. Yes, I became a member of the National Council of Negro Western Council back in 2009 from Elaine Bass, who I met back in 2009 out the blue. She approached me. Back then, we was at some event, and she just walked up to me and asked me would I come to the membership, come to the, one of their meetings just to hear what they have to say. And from that point on, they embraced me, and I became a member since then. They engaged me with my business. I had just created my leather business called Big Apple Fashion. They supported me in my business. They supported me in my quest, and I appreciate these women, and they stayed with me from the beginning to the end. So here, I appreciate everyone here. And when you stated that can the council step up and be there for you? Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Yes, we will.
So let you know, We honor the women, and I appreciate you guys for bringing me back into the council, and I'm ready to take that step. Thank you.
Glad to have you back. Let's get some photos. Mayor, would you like to come join us for some photos? You gotta come on down
Take the
there.
pictures, and then
some
we're ready to
photos.
roll, Councilman. I don't want nobody to
Beautiful.
stay.
Did you want to say something, Mayor?
I was about to say, come here, Terry.
We're gonna say get right here. Come right on up.
You got it, you sure? Come on. That's cool. They can get them all. I'm good. I'm good. Wide lens, Louis. Wide lens. Wide lens. All right. Last shot, y'all ready? All right, thanks ladies, thanks everybody. Let's make sure we help this down the steps. We help you. You go down the hill, you step. Got it? All right. Anybody needs some help, let's make sure we help them down that way. You got it? That's all I want to make sure y'all get it. Good? Okay, thank you. She can get down. She jump all the way up there. Thank y'all for coming. Take it easy. All right. You got to help here. Just so everybody knows, thank you again, ladies. Appreciate you all so much. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, as our guests take their seats, we can move to first reading emergency ordinance referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 504-2023 by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Community Development to administer the Community Engagement Healthy Home Initiative, to enter into one or more contracts with various community development corporations for the purpose of hiring community engagement specialists by neighborhood to improve the quality of life for residents and the city's housing stock, to enter into professional services contracts for acquisition of software and training to conduct the initiative, and to make purchases of materials, equipment, supplies, and services needed to conduct the initiative. Ordinance 505-2023 by Council Members McCormack, Hairston, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, to amend Sections 1, 2, and 3 of Ordinance 995-2021 relating to granting to the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District certain easement rights at or under several city properties near South Marginal Road for the Sewer District's Shoreline Consolidation Sewer Project. Ordinance 506-2023 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, to amend Section 50 of Ordinance 194-2021 as amended relating to compensation for various classifications. Ordinance 507, 2023, by Council Members House, Griffin, and Santana, directing a portion of the city's coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund payment to respond to the public health emergency or its negative economic impacts by providing assistance to Birthing Beautiful Communities and an Ohio nonprofit corporation to the extent of its demonstrated financial hardship and authorizing grant agreements for same for the amount not to exceed $1 million to be encumbered March 3rd, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2024. Ordinance 508, 2023, by Council Members Santana, Hairston, and Griffin, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with Northeast Ohio Hispanic Center for Economic Development to provide economic development assistance to partially finance the Central Villa 25 project at 3140 West 25th Street. Ordinance 509, 2023, by Council Members Casey and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more requirement contracts without competitive bidding with Johnson Controls Fire Protection for inspection, testing, and service of proprietary fire protection and life safety systems and replacement parts for the Division of Water, Cleveland Public Power, and Water Pollution Control Department of Public Utilities for a period of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, the first of which requires additional legislative authority. Ordinance 510, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Hairston, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into one or more contracts with eConsult Solutions to conduct an economic development analysis of Burke Lakefront Airport for the Department of Economic Development for a period of 1 year. Ordinance 511, 2023, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to enter into an agreement with Neighborhood Leadership Institute to provide its schools as neighborhood resources, Youth Leadership Cleveland, and summer tennis programs at various facilities throughout the city of Cleveland for a term of 1 year. Ordinance 512, 2023, by Councilmember Gray, designating the Bodie Recording Company as a Cleveland landmark. Ordinance 513, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into a lease agreement with Av Air Pros Services for the lease of certain space in the terminal building at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport for the purpose of operating and maintaining the inline baggage handling system and other duties related to aeronautical equipment for the Department of Port Control for a period of 5 years with 1 3-year option to renew, which shall require additional legislative authority. Ordinance 514, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts for the purchase or lease of materials, equipment, supplies, and services needed to enhance, alter, and modify employee work areas for the Division of Airports, Department of Port Control for a period of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 519, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Hairston, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Directors of Economic Development and/or Port Control as appropriate to enter into a cooperative agreement with County of Cuyahoga and North Coast Development Corporation upon its incorporation to plan and implement transformational projects on the Cleveland's waterfront, to enter into one or more agreements with North Coast Development Corporation, and to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 520, 2023, by Council Members Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Directors of City Planning and/or Public Works as appropriate to enter into one or more agreements with the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Greater Cleveland, DBA Destination Cleveland, for professional services for the design, programming, and project management of several experiential light installments on or benefiting city properties and to accept the donation of any equipment, materials, supplies, and services for lighting on such properties, authorizing other agreements, and authorizing the appropriate director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 521, 2023, by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Community Development to enter into an agreement with Landed, Inc. to implement and manage a shared appreciation down payment assistance fund program to promote home ownership in Cleveland middle neighborhoods, and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 522, 2023, authorizing the Director, by Council Members Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of City Planning to employ one or more consultants to provide professional services for the design, programming, management, and/or fabrication of interactive arts, activities, sculptures, and/or other amenities in downtown Cleveland, and to enter into other contracts, authorizing contracts to implement and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 526, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more agreements with Bedrock Management or its designees to provide or cause to provide professional services for the detailed design of various public improvements and to accept the donation of the construction of the improvements and to purchase any equipment, materials, supplies, and services for the making of such improvements, authorizing other agreements, and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 527, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the appropriation of $3 million from Fund Number 10, Subfund 400 for the detailed design of the North Coast Connector, and authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 528, 2023, by Council Members Palencic, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more contracts with the County of Cuyahoga to contribute funding for the construction of the Euclid Beach Trail Connector, and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 529, 2023, by Council Members Palencic, Hairston, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more contracts with the Board of Park Commissioners of Cleveland Metropolitan Park District for the detailed design of Euclid Creek Greenway Phase 2 North Project, and to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 530, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more contracts with Cleveland, Cuyahoga County Port and Land Studio or their designees related to the Irishtown Bend project, and authorizing the Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 531, 2023, by Council Members Hairston, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects and/or Port Control as appropriate to enter into one or more contracts with Cleveland Cuyahoga County Port Authority for the detailed design of the early implementation phase of the Cleveland Harbor Eastern Embayment Resilience Strategy Project, and authorizing the appropriate Director to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity. Ordinance 532, 2023, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, determining the method of making the public improvement of constructing basement, roof, facade, HVAC, and electrical improvements to the West Side Market, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to enter into one or more contracts for the making of the improvement and to apply for and accept any gifts, grants, or services from any public or private entity.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First reading, emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 515-2023 by Councilmember Moore, authorizing the Director of Department of Public Works to enter into agreement with Old Brooklyn Community Development Corporation for the Ben Franklin Community Garden Pavilion project through the use of Ward 12 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 523-2023 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request to amend sections 34, 35, 37, 40, 41, and 45 of Ordinance 194-2021 as amended relating to compensation for various classifications. Ordinance 524-2023 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, approving the collective bargaining agreement with the Service Employees Maintenance Employees, SEME Local 1, and to amend Section 18 of Ordinance 194-2021 as amended relating to compensation for various classifications. Ordinance 525-2023 by Councilmember McCormack, consenting and approving the issuance of a permit for the Hermes Will Run for Tacos event on July 15, 2023, managed by Hermes Sports and Events. Ordinance 544-2023 by Councilmember McCormack, consenting and approving the issuance of a permit for the Diversity Center of Northeast Ohio event on May 6, 2023, managed by Hermes Sports and Events.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Jones, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember McCormack.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. First reading, emergency resolutions referred for administrative review and committee review.
Resolution 516-2023 by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, declaring the intent to vacate all of the remaining portions of an unnamed alley from the northerly line of permanent parcel 003-23019 to the center line of Gould Court. Resolution 517-2023 by Councilmembers House, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, declaring the intent to vacate a portion of Curtis Avenue Northeast, east of East 59th Street.
First reading, emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 518-2023 by Councilmember Polensek, objecting to the transfer of ownership of a D5 liquor permit to 16826 Lakeshore Boulevard. Resolution 542-2023 by Councilmember McCormack, withdrawing objection to the transfer of ownership of a D2, D2X, and D3 liquor permit at 1801 East 9th Street, first floor, Suite 8, and repealing Resolution 380-2023, objecting to said permit.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Jones, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember McCormack.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Second reading, emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 336-2023 by Councilmembers Griffin, Harsh, Conwell, Slife, Starr, Moore, Santana, House, and Mayor Bibb, authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into agreement with Medical Debt Resolution DBA RIP Medical Debt to provide medical debt forgiveness to qualifying City of Cleveland residents. Ordinance 367, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more requirement contracts without competitive bidding with Wadsworth Service for various proprietary services of labor and materials needed for the maintenance, repair, enhancement, expansion, installation, testing, operation, and management of the integrated access control, closed-circuit TV cameras, and ID badging systems for the Division of Airports Department of Port Control for a period not to exceed 2 years with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 368, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts needed for the purchase or rental of various safety equipment, materials, and supplies for compliance of general safety standards for the Division of Airports Department of Port Control for a period of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 398, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to provide engineering and design services to upgrade the existing fire suppression system for the primary and secondary hangars at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Ordinance 410, 2023, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts needed for materials, equipment, supplies, and services necessary for capital maintenance and repair of city facilities within the Department of Port Control, including labor and installation if necessary, for the Department of Port Control for a period of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Jones, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember McCormack.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. We'll now move to introductions, but I'm going to ask if we could allow the council lady, Councilwoman Jasmine Santana, to bring up the rear, or did you want to start off? She'll do it now. So, Councilwoman Santana?
I'm sorry, Mr. President, I didn't understand what you're saying. Do you
I
want me
didn't
to
know
do
if you wanted to
everything
do
all
it
at
now
once?
or if you wanted to be the closer. It's up to you.
I could do the closure and then do it all at once.
All right, let's do that. Okay, thank you. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Daryl Fields. Where's Daryl? Daryl Fields, if he could please stand up. Daryl Fields. Daryl Fields, let's give him a round of applause if we could. Daryl's an attorney with Forbes, Fields and Associates and married to Helen Forbes, who's the president and CEO of YWCL and also the son-in-law of the best council president this city has ever seen, Mr. George Forbes. So please give Mr. Forbes our best, Daryl. Thank you. Any other introductions? Councilman Brian Casey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd just like to recognize Mr. John Kearney, who's here tonight in the audience. John is a national figure for an advocate for autism, who will be working with John in the near future on some endeavors. So we just wanted to welcome John. Thank you.
Welcome, John. Councilwoman Rebecca Moore.
Thank you. I just want to recognize Friends of Ward 12, Judge Jasmine Torres-Lugo and Edwin Reyes. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to support Centra Via. Councilwoman Santana, congratulations.
Awesome. And the closer, Councilwoman Jasmine Santana, to introduce all of the people that are here to support her.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today's a different day. As you guys know, I rarely get visitors, but today, as you can see, Latinos are in the house. So, yeah. So, President, colleague, mayor, administration, 6 years ago, I decided to make probably one of the most toughest decisions in my life. And it was very uncomfortable, and it was to run for city council. After 20 years in working with the Latino community, I realized that there was many challenges and obstacles that my gente, my people faced. So I decided to run, hoping that I would win so that I could advocate and represent my community. Well, it hasn't been easy. I do thank my colleagues who have supported me. You know, I often say I felt like I went from GED in politics to my PhD here in my 6 years. But today, all those challenges have been worth it. Today, you all heard ordinance number 508/2023 being read. It's an allocation of $1.5 million, which will close the final gap and make Centro Villa 25 a reality. Thank you. This project will be transformational, not only for Ward 14 and the West 25th area, but impact will affect residents across the whole city. Latinos are the fastest growing demographic in the U.S. The increase between 2010 and 2020 accounted for 51% of our national population. In Cleveland, 12.2% of our population are Latinos. We are also one of the fastest growing demographic group in Cleveland. Hispanics-owned businesses grew 3% from 2017. In 2018, Hispanic-owned businesses made up 5.8% of all businesses in Cleveland. Yes, we have lots of work to do to move these numbers up. Centro Villa 25 will include a mercado, which is a market, a plaza for people to gather, a commercial kitchen, a grocery store that will address food insecurities, office space, a conference center. This 31,000 square foot space is what the Latinos families have been requesting for years. President, I'm talking about decades. It will create new jobs and retail businesses which currently do not exist. I get calls often inquiring about affordable space, and this project will create tangible opportunities for these families and residents of Cleveland. This project is a long time coming for the community. As I mentioned, over 4 decades in the making. Centro Villa 25 will become the heart of the historic Clark Fulton neighborhood with restaurants, businesses, and places to celebrate our Latino culture. The project is entering a new phase with newly gained support from various partners to transform a community into a destination within the city of Cleveland. So oftentimes, and I had to say this, oftentimes I hear complaints or, jokes about Latino community does not show up to vote. As one of 2 Latinas currently elected, the other one being Judge Jasmine Torres Lugo, elected to public office, I agree with them. Why should they show up when historically the city hasn't shown up for them? When significant and consistent investment have not been made to create economic justice for the Latino communities in Cleveland. This is why I'm so proud to stand here today as both part of Latino community, a resident, a Latina, and a Cleveland City Council member as we introduce ordinance number 508/2023. I want to thank my colleagues on council for your anticipated support. I know we will hear this through DPS and finance. And a special thanks to my council president, Blaine Griffin, majority leader, Carrie McCormick, for helping to advance this legislation. It took one meeting with them so they could see that this is going to make a real difference for real people in our city. And I can't thank you guys enough. With that, I am excited to introduce the distinguished members of our community, which are in the house today, especially as you heard from Janice Contreras, who has championed Centro Villa 25 project for nearly 10 years. And this is the reason why she was so emotional. Without her leadership, we would not be here today. And so I want to thank her and all others who have helped support these projects. And I'm going to read your name, and if you could stand. And if I miss someone, I apologize, but Janice Contreras, Zuli Morengo. Juan Molina Crespo, which is my spiritual father, my mentor. If you guys could all stay up, because I definitely want to take a picture looking this way. Miss Generosa Crespo, beautiful wife. Jose Estremera. Miss Lori Estremera. Jose Jr. His girlfriend, which I heard is in the house, Olivia. Okay. Elena Pagan. Okay. Maria Peña, or Mario Peña, is that? No, right? Okay. Adrian Maldonado. Judge Jose Villanueva is here. Don't forget him. Jose Feliciano Jr. Randy Cedeno. Chris Martinez. My brother from another mother, Luis Cartagena.
Luis.
Of course, Judge Jasmine Torres Lugo. Edwin Lugo. Okay, let me see if I'm missing anyone here. We got even my assistants here, Marangelis Miranda, stand up. And we have a committee that was just formed. It's called El Comité Dominicano of Cleveland. Here, if they could stand. So here you go. I just, I want to take a picture really quick, but also President, colleagues, I just want you to just thank you in advance for your support. And, you know, you're seeing Latinos here because we're finally investing in the Latino community. Don't underestimate the Latino community because they will be the ones to vote for the next elected officials. Thank you. And change the landscape. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.
And I just want to say, I want to commend the council lady. The council lady has been working very hard on this project. A lot of people don't see the work that you have to do, first of all, to just convince your colleagues. Because we have 17 people that have competing needs across the city, and the councilwoman has been very patient, helping everybody getting their projects done, and I'm just so proud of her and her leadership because she took the bull by the horns and she got this done. So you guys have a great councilwoman. All right. That means it's going to be 17-0 vote for this, right? All right. And thank you to all the Hispanic and Latina community. Juan Molina Crespo used to be my boss, too. So just good to see so many good faces here today. I'm going to go back to announcements because I do have an announcement, and I'm going to ask if Samantha Coleman could stand up from Judge Monet Scott's office. Samantha Coleman. And I want to read a statement briefly for Samantha and Judge Scott, who has been tracking me down from across the country to say that she wants to make sure that Cleveland City Council announces that Cleveland Housing Court will open their second court in the community kiosk location, and the grand opening will be May 1st, 2023 at 11 a.m. at the Cleveland Public Library, Mount Pleasant branch. All council and Cleveland residents are welcome to attend. This location will be available for residents to attend court hearings without coming to the Justice Center. And it will be available from Monday through Friday from 10 to 3. And I want to thank Judge Scott because that's huge. Everybody can't get downtown. So let's acknowledge that she is watching via online. So she's checking saying, Councilman and President, are you going to announce this? And are you going to announce this? And she recognizes the partnership with council. So Ms. Coleman, please tell Judge Scott we did announce it. And we also will put it out in all of our websites and everything else, okay? Thank you so much. Are there any other announcements before we move on? Any other announcements? Any other announcements? I do have one other announcement. This is a very quick announcement. I'd like Director Williams to stand up. Frank Williams, please stand up. Director Williams is not only a director, he is also being ordained as Pastor Williams. Pastor Williams for the Second Lakeview Baptist Church. I believe that's in the Glenville area. And hopefully many of us will be there to support you. So y'all know when we get an attitude now, we want to cuss and everything, we can't say it to Director Williams anymore. So congratulations, Director Williams, and appreciate your service, sir. And congratulations on becoming pastor of Second Lakeview. All right, any other announcements? Seeing no other announcements. Oh, announcement? We got Stephanie House first, Councilwoman House.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that this week, April 23rd through April 29th is reentry week. So if you are not engaged in participating and you don't know, please go on the Cuyahoga County Reentry's office. There are a lot of exciting events. And I actually just heard about a policy summit talking about collateral sanctions that will also be held on Saturday. So please check it out as we look forward to supporting our returning citizens. Thank you.
And that's very important. Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for leadership on that as well. Councilman Joe Jones, announcements?
Yes, I rise this coming Thursday, April 27th at John F. Kennedy from 5 to 8. There's going to be the Career Expo. So anyone's looking for a job, got children who are looking for jobs, they start at $17 an hour all the way up. If you need assistance on writing a resume, they'll help you on site. For those who are looking to start or establish their own construction business, there will be people there that would help you, get you facilitated in the entire process, as well as look out for you with jobs and construction jobs within the next 8 to 10 years in the city of Cleveland. It's going to be really important to make sure that you bring your folks, you come on all out. So if you don't have a job, you need a job, you want a job, you can come and get a job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. All right, now we move to miscellaneous. I'm going to hold everybody to the strict time limit of 4 minutes. Last week, I was a little bit liberal because I know that a lot of people had some things that they wanted to say, but I'm going to ask all council members in advance to please adhere to the 4-minute time limit. Thank you so much. I have Councilwoman House said shave about a minute off of that. But Councilman McCormick and then Councilman Harsh.
Mr. Chairman, I plan on giving most of my time back to you, so don't worry about that. Just 3 quick things. Mr. Chair, a birdie told me that Mayor Bibb's birthday's on Wednesday, so happy birthday, Mayor Bibb. Mr. Chair, I also want to recognize Don Whitaker and the vendors from the West Side Market who are here with us today as well, to welcome them. Jimmy and everybody, if you could stand up. And then, Mr. Chair, I'm not going to at all attempt to steal her thunder, but I just want to throw a little praise on my colleague for a moment. I've had the privilege of working with Councilwoman Santana for the majority of my time here in Cleveland City Council. And not only is she as grassroots comes, but she sees the big picture of our community here. And she has been advocating for Centro Via for many, many, many years. And without her, this is why representation matters. This is why you got to have a seat at the table. And she took that seat at the table. And because she took this seat at the table on behalf of the Latino community, this piece of legislation was introduced tonight. So again, I just want to acknowledge, absolutely. Acknowledge Councilwoman Santana. This is a big, big deal for our entire city, for our entire region. I cannot wait to see this project that Janice and many others have been working on for so long. It was like 1985 when you and I met about this project the first time, it feels like. But for so many people that have worked so long on this project, it's such an exciting, important project for our community. It's not just a project, it's like a movement. It's so much more. So congratulations to everyone who's been working on this for so long. And to my colleague, Councilwoman Santana, for never quitting. And she's, Mr. President, she's one of those people that doesn't have quit in her and just keeps going. So congratulations, Councilwoman.
Yes. Councilman Chris Harsh.
I also won't need all 4 minutes tonight, but I will jump on the Central Vio bandwagon as well. I remember when this was just a twinkle in your eye back at Metro West so many years ago, and it's so fantastic to see this come through. We're going to activate a new section of West 25th Street. We've got the market and everything north is activated. We've got the hospitals activated. This will activate that portion right in between as the cultural ground zero for the Latino community in Cleveland, and we so desperately have needed this for a long time. So congratulations, Councilwoman. This is a fantastic day for you and the Latino community. I'm very excited to share in your joy as well. I also want to thank my colleagues briefly tonight for helping to pass the medical debt legislation that was finally passed tonight. This was introduced in the fall. It's a fantastic project that's going to help reduce up to $200 million in medical debt for Clevelanders in every single ward across Cleveland. This affects all people in every single ward. Yes, absolutely. There is no ward that won't feel this impact. And I just want to let Clevelanders know you do not need to sign up for this. There is no sign me up list. This will just happen through negotiations, and our residents will be notified when they get a letter in the mail letting them know that a piece of debt that they've had for years or months or whatever has now been forgiven. And that will be a burden relieved from our residents, and this will fall like snow, I think, in the fall across the city. So thank you to Chairman Conwell for introducing this, to Councilman Slife for getting the ball rolling, and to Councilwoman Moore for bringing it across the finish line. I appreciate all your help in this, and to everybody else as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
And he doesn't have his mic up, so I'm like that teacher, and I'm going to call on him anyway. Councilman Slife, please make a couple of remarks if you could, because you brought this to everybody as well.
I will be using all of my 4 minutes and some additional time. No, I think it's been coming up on 4 years in this November on council, so had the opportunity to do a number of things that I'm proud of, but I'm especially proud of this one because I do think that impact is going to be felt, not especially citywide, but especially in communities that have been systemically disadvantaged, and that we spend so much time working through ways that we can support people who have not been supported historically. So thank you to all my colleagues. Thank you, Council President, for your support as well. And I'm excited to continue to help find fun and innovative ways to help the residents of the city of Cleveland.
All right, thank you. And I got to call on Councilwoman Moore. She's the closer. She's the anchor leg because she helped close this thing. So Councilwoman Moore, if you can make a couple of remarks.
Chair, I also will just echo the sentiments of my colleagues and what we said earlier today, which is that we definitely wish we weren't here. We wish we weren't in a world where tens of thousands of Clevelanders were carrying forward thousands of dollars of debt for basic health care that they needed. And I think what we all hope is that as part of passing this legislation and having that relief be felt out in our communities, we encourage everybody to seek the health care that they need, and that we send the message that we want Clevelanders to thrive, we want you to succeed, and this council and this city will do everything possible to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to commend all of my colleagues for doing that. I always tell everybody, I always want to make sure we look after the people of the city of Cleveland, and I think this is going to be one of those things that really helps benefit. So thank you for bringing up this issue. Contrary to popular belief, all decisions aren't made strictly from this chair. We do have a body, and all of these guys really brought that to us, and we actually executed. So thank you guys, appreciate that. Seeing no other comments, Madam Clerk, would you please excuse the absences of Conwell and Spencer?
By Councilmember Jones, that the absence of council members Conwell and Spencer are hereby excused. Seconded by Councilmember McCormack.
All right. This council is adjourned to the next regular meeting of Monday, May 1st at the call of the chair. Thank you.